Hi, I'm Ray and this is TinyTableGames. Thanks for joining me as I continue to work through my game shelf of all the games that have been sitting there but I've never played. Today I am playing Onitama, which is a weird little box game that's been around for a while. ArcaneWonders, dicetower Essentials list, on sale at most Barnes & Nobles. And it's kind of chess-like, I suppose, but I would like, I don't know, never get onto it. But I finally did, so let's get into it. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already to help the channel grow. And thank you very much. So normally I don't bother showing you opening the box, but I always thought this was curious because I always assumed when I looked at it in the store that it opened from either end. But nope, it's a magnetic, it's a magnetic box. Opens from the side like that and folds out. There's the rules and the playing mat, which is just a big mouse pad basically, and the playing pieces. So there's the basic setup. You've got your master and 4 students on each side. And a little artwork there. And there's 2 ways to win. Way number 1 is to eliminate the opponent's master or get it to take your master to their gateway. So I know people say, oh, it's kind of like chess, but it's not really, nor is it quite like checkers. It's kind of a weird mix. So there's these various move cards. You're only going to use 5 in the whole game, so that can create some variation, which is interesting. And each one tells you dark square is where the piece is, light squares are where it can move to. And each card is different that way and tells you different things you can do with it. So you're going to deal out 2 cards to each player. They're both face up so everybody can see the moves. And a 3rd card will go on the side and you'll see why. So obviously the replayability comes from having 16 different moves possible, but only using 5 in a game. So, the eel, the dragon, eel and horse for the red side, and dragon and crane for the blue side. And red goes first because that's the color of the icon, and the extra move is boar. Okay, so that'll go like this. And the rest of these just get put aside because you don't use them. For this game. So on your turn, you can play one of these 2 cards. And once you've played it, you pass it up to the middle and take the card that was there. And on your opponent's turn, they will play one of their 2 cards, and then they will take the card that you played, which is now in the middle, and swap it for one of their cards. And it goes back and forth like that. But for the moment, we got eel or horse. So unlike chess, you don't have to move sequentially across the spaces. You kind of teleport really. So no matter how crowded it is, no other piece interferes with your motion. So if this guy was here and you want to do the eel maneuver, you could either take the piece because you have to land on it to take it. And you can take any piece, but you don't win until you take the master. Or if like it was for some reason you were supposed to go here, it doesn't matter, you just skip that guy because you did land on him and teleport to there. So that said, I think I will use horse and move this guy up 1 space. So then that goes up there, I pick up the boar, and now it is the blue's turn. I suppose I should mention that if you're playing it, usually a player's sitting here and a player's sitting here. So your frame of reference for the movement on the cards is always like this. Obviously that matters. Okay, so in this case over here, I guess I will use the crane and move this guy up 1. Now it's back to the red side. And I did crane and moved him up 1, knowing that this guy will not have the ability to move up 2 spaces on his turn, so he can't be captured immediately. In this case, I will use the eel to move this guy up to here. Oops. And as you might imagine, they sell expansions for this game, which is basically more move cards and different types of styles of Kung Fu, but I mean, really, it's totally abstracted out, and they just kind of paste that on there as far as the theme goes, but still, it's interesting. Let's see, for the dragon here. Can I get there? Almost, but not quite. So I will horse it up to here. And red back over here. I think I'll use boar again. Okay, for blue, that dragon's really useful, I think. If I want to move up to here, but do I want to do that? Can anybody get me? They can't this turn, so I'm going to dragon my way to here. Because the only diagonal movers are eel and dragon, and I was sitting on both of them just then. So red side, we're going to horse forward. Oh, that was dumb. Because now I can board that guy, and I will. And capture a piece. Okay, at this point I've sped it up to 5 times normal speed, so you don't have to listen to me ponder every single move as I went forward. As you can see, I ended up turning the card sideways that way, so the frame of reference goes along with the direction the pieces are moving on the board, just to keep it straight in my head as I went forward, so I didn't make a mistake moving on. I figured it would be interesting to see if red played more defensively and blue tried to get their leader over to that archway more aggressively, how much feel of a difference is there between playing defense and aggressively on offense using the same set of moves. And interestingly, it does feel a little bit different, even with the piece disadvantage, which eventually happened, not because I was just trying to throw it, but because you start to lose track a little bit because there's so many different things going on, and eventually the closer they get to each other, the more you got to pay attention to those moves. Eventually you just have to do something that's going to be potentially taken by your opponent, but since they only have one move, you can at least force them to decide and hopefully make a sacrifice to draw away a piece so that you have the movement to go forward. I felt like I was going to be quite successful getting the blue master over to that archway for a while until I started utilizing that dragon maneuver better. As you can see, that really pieces travel around quite a bit depending. This is just with the 5 I drew. There's another, what, 11 different ones in the base set you can shuffle in there, so definitely a lot of replayability. And I figured with the piece advantage that blue had, it was probably only a matter of time unless I was very careful. The only thing, and with the red leader all the way on his back row again, I figured, well, that's a wrap. Surely they'll get forward here anytime now. But again, it's possible to play pretty good defense right up until you forget about the giving your opponent the dragon maneuver, which right before victory, the pawn jumped over there and did the dragon. And that was that for the game. As you can see, there's a lot of other moves people can make during the game, depending on what 5 cards you get. Rooster is interesting, cobra, elephant, monkey. So there's lots of different things that can keep the game from getting too samey each time, which makes it a pretty cool design. Obviously, it can play pretty quick, so nobody gets particularly upset. It doesn't take a long time like chess, unless you have a really mismatched game like chess. It's less prone to formalization and memorization, unless you're really super dedicated to this game based on what 5 moves will be in the round. Because it's not always consistent how each piece moves, which is kind of one of the neater aspects of it, one of the things I always got tired of in chess. And yes, believe it or not, that's all there is to the game. That's why it's a quick and easy game to play. Definitely some good strategy to it. I like how you got the different cards that you can play back and forth with, kind of chessy, but not. Definitely fits in the backpack, so you can roll it up and take it with you and play it before the exhibitor hall opens at Gen Con or Dicetower or something like that. So I recommend this one. I think it's well worth the money. Very fun. I like playing it. This has been Ray with TinyTableGames. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and maybe go buy Onitama. It's a lot of fun. See you next time.